Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're good. I want to have a serious conversation with every citizen on this planet Earth, no matter the position of your country, no matter the conditions, like whether it's a rich or poor country, I don't care. I just want to talk to the proud citizens of every nation on this earth, you know what I'm saying? Because I got some questions for you. The first one is going to be like, have you ever heard any ethnic issues about Senegal, that beautiful land in West Africa? If you ever heard of that, please put your answer in the comment section below this video. Yeah, I got maybe one or two more questions for you. But before, I'm going to give you some details. You know what I'm saying? Taking you back in the history, because you guys are seeing a campaign of propaganda. Some people are talking bullshit on Senegal. When you listen to the information they're spreading on the internet and the radios and television, you might be like, Senegalese people are xenophobic, which is not right. That's a big ass lie, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? But seeing the way that things are going is automatically understandable that it's organized. When you listen to France 24 or France 24, when you listen to TV5 World or TV5 Monde, the angle from which they're treating the information, the way they're talking about it, the people they interviewing, the speech, the narrative they holding, they got the same narrative as the people that came from another country trying to invade us. But I'm coming to those people later. And all of this thing they're doing, they got local alligators walking with them. And those local alligators, they call themselves human rights protectors or call themselves teachers or politicians, activists, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But they owe alligators. They owe for the money, nothing else. I've been saying it many times, you know what I'm saying? But let me take you back in the history, like where the story began. You know, Senegal is surrounded, the north, the east, and the south by Mauritania, Mali. In the south, we got Conakry, Guinea, and Bissau, Guinea. In the west side, we got the Atlantic Ocean. But before independence, the Guineans, they already got their independence. That was the time of Sekou Touré. Rest in peace over time. He just considered these Fulani people as betrayers. And he was chasing them out of the country. And they all flee. But most of them, they came to Senegal because it's closer. And when they came to Senegal, they found a Fulani community because Fulani is the second most spoken language in Africa. Meaning that you can find Fulani in Senegal, in Bissau, Guinea, in Liberia, in Gabon, in Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Niger, all those countries, even Mauritania, you're gonna see Fulani people, but with some differences in the way they talk in the language. So they had a very easy integration. And it's very important to mention they came there as refugees. So these people are coming here in a country where people been welcoming them, hosting them in their houses, being treating them good as brothers and sisters, while they still having that project of conquering the country. It's like, as an example, when you host someone in your house, you leave him somewhere, you give him a room, you give him food, you give him everything. And just sometimes you tell him, okay, you got to start walking, doing this, doing that. And one day he just like wakes up one day and feels like strong enough to face you, claiming some part of the house. Like, okay, this part of the house, because these Fulani people that came from Conakry, Guinea, they even wrote a book claiming some part of the national territory of Senegal. And they just relying to ancient empires that was back in the 13th, 14th, 16th centuries. They bringing back the name of Koli Tengala. Koli Tengala, yes, of course, he conquered Senegal till the north. And the Torodo Revolution chased him back. And that's not even the reason. But I'm just telling you, because some of you guys are talking about it, but they don't know much about it, though. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so this is exactly what's happening. They spent all of these 60 years with us, usurping, falsifying national documentations like birth certificates. They're using money to bribe people. Birth certificate, national identity cards, passports, and everything. You know what I mean? They've been using that. And now they're claiming to be Senegalese like everybody else. And there's another side of this history, which is these are people that put their ethnic over the borders of the nations. And that's always been source of issues in Africa. The problem between Uganda and Rwanda is started from there. They've been chased out of their own country and they come in Senegal as refugees. People been welcoming them, helping them. And they got ethnic issues in Guinea and they export it everywhere they go. This is the issue. How can you go xenophobic, a population that been hosting you for more than 60 years? Xenophobic is somebody who hates foreign people. When you listen to these guys, you might be like, yeah, if you don't know exactly what's going on in Senegal, you might think they are the only foreign community living in Senegal. We got many other communities. We got Arab, Black, Europeans, Asiatic, Indians. We got everybody. But only one community is coming out, talking bullshit on us when we're talking nationalism, when we're talking about regulation, when we talk about control of the border. Just go somebody, like while you're watching this video, if you got any contact in the border town between Senegal and Conakry, Guinea, call him or call her. They're going to tell you, I'm seeing a bunch of people, bunch of cars, lorries, trucks, and everything. They're bringing everything. Yes, of course, we in ECOWAS. Freedom of circulation, but not freedom of residence. If you want to reside in a foreign country, even though it's in ECOWAS or CEDEAO in French, you got some conditions, you got some rules. And this is what people are claiming. A xenophobic is somebody who hates foreign people. You don't want to hear the word foreigners. You're claiming to be Senegalese. So we resisting against it because you're not. This is exactly what's happening, bro. So my question to you as proud citizen of your nation, would you let somebody you've been hosting, you've been welcoming for over 60 years in the country be telling you, we coming back to invade the country. We're coming back to take you over. We're coming back to rip the control of the nation from your hands. We're coming back to conquer the way our ancestor Kole Tangala did. How would you do with the people who coming to you, cursing on you, insulting you, disrespecting you, disrespecting your political leaders, disrespecting your religious leaders, disrespecting your brotherhoods? Because in Senegal we got some Muslim brotherhoods like Moridia, Tijaniya, Qadiriya. We got all of that. When our national soccer team is playing, they don't support us. But when we lose, bro, they keep celebrating. You're living with foreigners like that because they just woke up one day and they be like, yeah, we're strong enough now to claim our part of this nation. And they even wrote a book talking about it. We are shareholders of the nation. That's what they say. They wrote a book. I think that's the title of the book. We, Fulani of Futa, Jalon, we are shareholders of this nation of Senegal. And they claiming some part of the territory, some part of the national territory of Senegal. They claiming that. How would you do with people like that? How would you do with people who came in your country you've been hosting for over 60 years, who's trying to collaborate with the local Fulani, which is not going to work? It ain't never going to work. I'm telling you. The Fulani of Senegal, they don't know nothing about this ethnicism you're trying to... Holy shit, forget about it, man. Yeah, so how would you behave with people like that? We never said we gonna kick you out or we gonna kill anyone. We never say that. We just want to regulate our country. I'm living outside of my country. I got documents to work. Before having documents to work, I was working in the campo. They call it campo. I was working in the plantation. I was doing other business to survive. Until I got the document, I'm working properly. And I'm contributing in the economy of this nation. That's what we're claiming. So how can you be a foreigner in a country and you don't want to hear the word regulation? You don't want to hear the word nationalism. If you go after 60 years or more than 60 years living in Senegal, walking and doing everything you want, and today you're calling us xenophobic, I think that means you need to reset your software. You got to revise your way of acting, your way of doing things. I myself in my house, I host you for maybe 40 years or 2 years, 50 years. You wake up one day, you're trying to brag over my head, trying to claim some part of my own house. I'm going to tell you, nigga, get the fuck out of my house, man. Yeah, I do it without a doubt. That's what we're claiming. We're claiming regulation. But if you keep falsifying our national documentations, it's for you a mean of proving that you're Senegalese. Why are you not? And let me talk a little bit to the alligators. You, those alligators. I guess they paying you enough money to do this. But if there's any piece of advice I gotta give you, is always do your best to be on the best side of the history. Because all of these things are gonna be tales. Your kids, your grandkids, they're gonna hear that. Bro, there's some rules. We in the ECOWAS, everybody knows it. But if I go to the Gambia, I go to Mali, I go to another country, they got their rules, and I have to be abided by those rules. And that's how the game goes. You know what I'm saying? Senegal is surrounded by unstable countries. Everybody knows it. So we got to protect our borders. This is what we're claiming. We reclaiming like more privilege for the Senegalese citizen. We're not saying we got to treat bad the foreign people that's coming to us. But privileges for the Senegalese, man. This is what we're claiming. That's what I'm seeing here. That's what everybody's seeing everywhere they at. So when we're talking that, the only community that's complaining about it, cursing on us, calling us on every name, is the Fulani community that's coming from Guinea. You should develop that kind of pride, the sense of national pride. You should develop it because Guinea is not a nation. It's just a country. But you need to build a nation as we did in Senegal. In Senegal, we have built a nation. This is the issue. So to the citizens of the world, this is exactly what's happening in Senegal. And whoever tells you something different from this, he's a liar. I swear. We need regulation because we're surrounded by countries that coup d'etat, civil wars, and all of those bullshit. We don't want it in our country. Who wants that to happen in their country? Anybody. You come in and say you're going to conquer the country like Koli Tengala did back in the days. And you think you're not going to face people in front of your holy shit. You're going to find us on your way. I'm telling you. This is exactly what's happening over there. If you're outside of the country, when you hear this bullshit they spread it over the internet, you might be like, yeah, Senegalese people are xenophobic. We're not xenophobic. xenophobic people would never host people for over 60 years or maybe more.